Alright. After the current events of the last week have gone by again, I was sitting here this morning doing a little journaling because, I don't know, I need some focus. And this is why. I feel like I am struggling a lot with my feelings for Mike. And I don't even know how many feelings are really there for Mike. I think there's a lot of not talked about stuff because he can't talk. Not without pointing fingers at me and what I've done. It can't be done. And and I get a lot of flack because my feelings are out of control. Enough of the time. And and I get a lot of shit because everybody has this delusion that I'm afraid to be alone. But I don't think people actually realize how much time I actually spend by myself. Because, my dad has been gone for 1.5 years. And my dad is all that I had. My dad was everything. I talked to him about everything to him. And I dreaded losing him because of this. And the truth is he was gone a lot longer than before he died. That stability had been gone for a long time. And I was struggling. And the reality is, you know what? I think I am. I think I'm going to read this right out of what I just wrote, because I just wrote this. And reality is, I don't want to be so freaking alone. I don't have anybody. That's what I have. That is what work and caregiving has done. And it made it so I had no time to connect. Not in a real way. Besides the fact that I have men around me that want to convince me they're there for a whole lot more than they were. And reality is, according to him, and according to other people, he was. According to what was seen. But reality is that any time my feelings were out of control, and they were out of control a lot, because my dad was dying. My dad was dying, people. Mike. Of course, my feelings were out of control. And a lot of times I felt like I could rip somebody's head off. And you know what? All of that is energy. When you're feeling out of control like that, that's energy. And if you think about energy and what energy really is, what I needed was stability, because I was having a hard time. And all I got back was flack, because he's not dealing with that. I was being too mean to him. You know what? When you're not feeling nice, you're not gonna be nice. And that is fucking reality. Feelings sometimes are out of control. You take the word grief. A lot of people don't even want to use that word, because the word on its own has got its own energy. And the energy, it's not good energy. That word doesn't even make you feel good. That's called energy. And when somebody's actually dealing with that emotion, that energy isn't feeling good. Shock. And you know what? When you're out of control and you really need somebody, I don't know what gives people the fucking delusion that look on somebody else is going to be a pretty look. Like you're going to be elegant and you're going to be somehow open to receiving a hug. No, you're feeling out of control and you don't know how to deal with it. And what you need somebody that's going to be there for you and be a rock so that when you're out of control, somebody's there. And that's not going to be pretty. It's upsetting. And it hurts. And then, you know what? And you know what you get back? Poking at me and telling me how mean and nuts I am. Needless to say, that does not help. Just like telling somebody they are afraid of being alone does not help. Find Jesus? Oh my God. Really? Again? That's really. People need to realize sometimes feelings are messy. Someone with really good intentions can seem mean when their feelings are out of control. That does not make them a bad person. It means they need an anchor. That may mean you might have to hug someone even though they are yelling at you. Or God forbid, you just let that person yell and scream and carry on, because dealing with difficult emotions includes a lot of energy release. And that energy needs to go somewhere. Because you know what bottling up that energy does? Because it's got to go somewhere. And it's gonna go somewhere. If you internalize it, that's where that fear of being alone. Because you know what? When you're alone and that shit starts to come out, it feels really overwhelming. I know all about it. And that gets looked at as a fear of being alone. No, I don't fear being alone. I fear being alone with those emotions because they're scary. And you know what? The world thinks that you should just take a bottle of pills and that's going to make it all okay. Look at the drug use. Just look at it. And then what you go to AA. I am going to say this. You go to AA. And they try to make you feel like we have an alcoholic brain and we're the only fucking people that in the fucking world that deal with this. No, you know what? You know what we are is fucking human. And to change that into anything else, anxiety is normal. Feeling bad on certain days is normal. And people are in this delusion that every day you're going to wake up and everything is going to be wonderful and 100% okay and you're always going to be in a good mood. And treat that person you're with always with that fucking... I don't even get it. I think the delusion with 50-year-old men is that relationships are like that. That people don't fight. And that conflicts can't be resolved. And that, God forbid, you do something like have sex. People, do you understand what sex does? It's not the act of fucking having sex. Really? If you're in a relationship, just look at sex and the physical, the physicalness of it. You have to physically do things, and it's exhausting in some cases. That is a lot of energy release. It also requires a lot of skin on skin contact if you're doing it right. That is the connection that I wanted in that relationship. I'm sorry, Jesus wasn't going to do that for me. Love, connection, touch, feeling loved. You know what? You know how many times I've been told, I love you. And there's nothing behind that. Nothing. If I get upset, I can go home. Because they're not dealing with that. That's a fucking delusion. That's a delusion. Telling somebody they're crazy because they're upset, that's gaslighting. That's what that is. And gaslighting does not have to be fucking some psycho crazy fucking relationship where people are being physically abused or mentally put in. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not putting myself there. I'm not going to let you gaslight me until there's nothing left of me. I don't need to let the relationship get to the point of abuse. And making somebody feel like they're crazy because they're having emotions is gaslighting. Plain and simple. Telling somebody they need pills because they can't get their emotions under control, that's gaslighting. That's making somebody feel like they're crazy because you don't want to deal with their emotions. That's what that is. So no. And this video is going on 13 minutes, so I doubt anybody's even going to watch this to the end and actually get anything out of it. Because that's what the world is. This right here to them is boring, or it makes them feel uncomfortable because nobody wants to actually deal with any of the emotions. And that doesn't mean just you dealing with it. The reason for human connection and the reason why we are social beings is because we need to be hugged. We need to feel loved. And telling somebody that they need to learn how to be alone, I don't know. To me, that is a form of gaslighting. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you.